Welcome to this LET review on reflective teaching. Reflective teaching is about one essential habit: teachers taking time to look critically at their own practice, what they taught, it, how students responded, and what could be done better next time. It is not a single method or strategy. It is a professional disposition, a commitment to continuous self-improvement. For each of the 8 questions here, we will walk through the question type, the strategy you should use, and a clear explanation of why the correct answer is right. Let's begin. Type 1. Best answer. The word best signals that you should not stop at the first option that sounds reasonable. Read all 4, then ask, which one gives the fullest and most accurate picture of reflective teaching? A says a process where teachers examine and improve their teaching practices. That is the heart of it: examination and improvement. Both elements are present. This is the most complete description. B says teaching without evaluating. That is the opposite of reflective practice. C says following routines without change. A routine teacher repeats the same patterns year after year without asking whether they are working. That is precisely what reflective teaching pushes against. D limits teaching to textbooks. Reflective teaching is about the whole picture: student responses, classroom dynamics, outcomes, and the teacher's own professional growth. The answer is A. Type 2. Combination. Your strategy here is to evaluate each statement independently before looking at the answer choices. Statement 1. Teachers analyze their practices. True, analysis is the starting point of reflection. Statement 2. Reflection supports improvement. True, this is the whole purpose. You reflect so you can get better. Statement 3. Teachers ignore student feedback. False. Reflective teachers actively seek feedback. Ignoring it means closing yourself off from one of the most valuable sources of information about your teaching. Statement 4. Teachers identify strengths and weaknesses. True. Honest self-assessment requires acknowledging both. With Statement 3 identified as false, B, C, and D are all eliminated. Only A remains, and it contains only true statements. That is your answer. Type 3. Negative format. Remember, in accept questions, your instinct to find what is correct will work against you. Circle the word accept first, then work through each option asking, does this belong? A. Analyzing lessons. Yes, this is absolutely part of reflective teaching. B. Seeking feedback. Yes, feedback from students, colleagues, or self-observation is essential. C. Improving instruction. Yes, the whole point of reflection is to make teaching better. D. Avoiding evaluation of teaching practices? No, this is the opposite of what reflective teachers do. A teacher who avoids looking at their own work is not reflecting, and they are hiding from it. The answer is D. It is the only option that does not belong in the description of reflective teaching. Type 4, the priority. For priority questions, think about what cannot happen until something else is done first. Reflection always begins with examination. Before you can improve, you have to know what you are looking at. Before you can plan changes, you have to understand what is happening now. A. Examine and evaluate current teaching practices. This is the starting point. Without this step, everything else is guesswork. B. Ignoring classroom results. This blocks reflection before it starts. You cannot reflect on evidence you have refused to look at. C. Avoiding student feedback. Same problem. Cutting off sources of information prevents meaningful reflection. D. Changing lessons without reflection. This is action without analysis. It might produce change, but not improvement. The sequence is: examine practice, arrow identify gaps, arrow plan improvement, arrow implement, and reflect again. The answer is A. Type 5. Situational. The scenario: a teacher sees poor assessment results. The question is what a reflective teacher should do. Before choosing, think about what reflective teaching actually calls for in this moment. Assessment data is evidence. A reflective teacher reads that evidence and uses it to ask, what does this tell me about my instruction? A. Reflect on teaching strategies and adjust instruction. This is exactly the reflective cycle in action. Evidence is observed, analyzed, and responded to with an instructional adjustment. B. Blaming students immediately. This is the opposite of reflection. It externalizes the problem without examining the teaching. C. Ignoring the results. This refuses to engage with the evidence at all. D. Using the same methods without change. This is repetition without reflection. If those methods produced poor results, repeating them will likely produce the same outcome. The answer is A. Type 6. Analogy. The pattern is A is to B as C is to blank. Define the relationship in the first pair, then apply it to complete the second. First pair. Teaching journal is to reflective teaching. The relationship is defining tool, the strategy it characterizes. A teaching journal is the most iconic and widely used tool of reflective teaching. It is how teachers capture, revisit, and learn from their experiences. Now ask, what is the most iconic tool of direct instruction? Modeling. The teacher demonstrates the skill first. That is the defining step that makes direct instruction what it is. Direct instruction. Correct. B, C, D. These are not teaching strategies, so they cannot form a meaningful parallel. The answer is A. Type 7. Cause and effect. The cause is clear. Teachers ignore feedback and never reflect on their lessons. Project forward. What happens to a teacher who consistently avoids this kind of self-examination? They keep doing what they have always done. They miss patterns in student performance. They do not notice when methods are not working. They do not adjust, they do not grow, and the students in their classroom bear the cost. A. Missed opportunities for improvement. This is the direct and honest consequence. Reflection is the mechanism for professional growth. Without it, growth simply does not happen. B, C, D all describe positive professional outcomes. Greater effectiveness, more growth, better decisions. But all of these require reflection to achieve. You cannot get to those outcomes through a cause that is the opposite of what produces them. The answer is A. Type 8. All of the above. Check each option carefully before deciding. A. Teaching journals. A genuine tool of reflective teaching. Teachers use journals to document experiences, record observations, and track patterns over time. B. Student feedback. Also genuine. Students are in the room. They experience the lesson firsthand. Their feedback gives teachers an external perspective that self-reflection alone cannot provide. C. Self-evaluation. The most internal and personal form of reflection. The teacher honestly assessing their own strengths and areas for growth. All three are correct, so DI, all of the above, is the answer. Do not rush through this type of question. The most common mistake is choosing the first correct-sounding option and stopping. Always check all three before committing to all of the above. Quick strategy. Summary: here is a concise read-through of all 8 strategies for this set. Best answer. Read every option. Choose the most complete, most accurate description. Combination. Find the false statement first. Eliminate every option that includes it, except /not. Circle the negative word first. You are looking for what does not belong. Priority. Reflective teaching starts with examination. You cannot improve what you have not yet looked at. Situational. Use evidence the way a reflective teacher would. Choose the response that analyzes and adjusts. Analogy. Match the type of relationship, not just the topic. Cause and effect. No reflection leads to no growth. Trace the logical consequences of avoiding evaluation. All of the above. Verify each option. If all three are true, all of the above is your answer. Padayon. Keep going.